Welcome back to VFX for the Indie Filmmaker. In this module, we're going to jump back into Mocha Pro and start creating some solid matte so we can fix this key and get rid of some of these holes in our actress here. So with your Fusion project open back up, click on the MP Mats, which was our Mocha Pro node, and launch Mocha Pro. And what we need to do is we need to kind of see what's going on with our matte. And in here, this is pretty much just our footage coming out of the color grade and then going through the noise reduction. But good thing about Fusion and Mocha Pro is we can just swap this node around. We can bring it to the end, bring it from our media out into Mocha Pro. But before we do that, we want to introduce a little color information in there as well so we can kind of see what's going on. So we're going to take our color space transform that we created earlier, reconnect it, connect it back to the media out. Now when we launch Mocha Pro, we have our keyed out footage, and I'm going to go ahead and play this to get it in the buffer. But we've got our keyed out footage, but one good thing about Mocha Pro is we have this color button up here. So not only can we see it in our RGB, if we click it, we can also see our alpha. This way when we're doing our mattes, we can see what we need to fix and what we need to get rid of. So once that goes through, take a look at our footage. All right. So we got quite a bit to work on in this, which is good. This module might be a little tedious and long, but we're going to work through all this so you can see the troubles and problems you might have with footage and what you need to do to get a good proper key. And now this key might be good for your specific shot, and you could be done and maybe bump up the threshold of the alpha to get rid of some of the holes inside. But this shot is pretty subject driven, so every little issue and every little mistake we see in the footage, we want to make sure we fix and correct. Because when people look at this shot, they're going to see our actress in her entirety. So every little mistake is going to pop through. So let's go ahead and start working on our key and create some solid mattes. The first thing we're going to do is some of this easier stuff. And some of our harder stuff is going to be right down here. If you look in this area, this has got a nice keyed out info, but as she turns, in that blank spot underneath her chest area goes away, we still have some info we have to get rid of. So this is gonna take a little extra matte work to get that correct. Because as soon as her arm pops out right here, we should see nothing there. And then it should be full in there. So let's go ahead and work on this first. So what we can do is let's go ahead and throw a track on here so we can start tracking this information. Here's our garbage matte that we made. I'm just hiding it because we don't need to see it anymore, but you also don't need to delete it. You can keep it all. And let's go ahead and add a new B-spline. And let's track this information right here. I'm going to kind of watch out for these shadows because these shadows are going to shift. And I want to keep it out of the shadows. So let's go ahead and track shear and perspective. We'll track that forward. And we'll check our track. And it's pretty good. We're going to shut this cog off. Now, anytime you're done tracking, make sure you're shutting these cogs off because it will retract that information. And we're going to change our color because we like our tracks to be green. And we're going to rename this track, and we'll put chest. All right. Now with this track, what we're going to do is we're going to use it to attach a matte. And what we want, let's look at our alpha. Let's go ahead and tackle this top stuff first. We'll go right here. Let's get that back on there. Let's create a new X-spline. And we're just going to go around her chest area right here. All right. Now if you want to round all these out when you first unclick, you can just highlight all those, grab these handles, and you can round everything out so it's nice and round. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this track and we're going to link it to our chest track. And let's see how that worked. All right, right there you can tell it needs to go over a little bit. So we're going to find our last frame right here. We're going to add a keyframe. And then right here, we're going to go ahead and slide this over. Let's bring it in. Anytime you're working with mats, you want to try to make sure you're kind of working big to small. So anything you can do on a big level, and actually all this is covered, so we can leave that just like that. Let's see how. Let's go ahead and bring these out a little more, because this all needs to be keyed out. And let's make a keyframe right here. And right here, let's bring this up a little bit. And there we go. And we're going to go ahead and color this white. I like all my solid mats white. And we'll rename it. We'll just name it Mat 01. All right. So that looks good. So we've got all this area covered. Now we got to work on the bottom part. And this right here is going to be pretty easy. We'll just keyframe our in and out of a mat. So we're going to start right where that arm stops covering. So this should all be matted out in here, but not in here. So let's see where that arm is, right there. So let's go ahead and create a new mat. And we're gonna kind of fake where this arm is going up. Go ahead and just bring it all the way down. Like so. Let's just select it all. Round it out a little bit. And for this, we're going to start adding, we're definitely going to keyframe. We're not going to track anything or assign it to any tracks. We're just going to add a couple keyframes and put this where it belongs. So here, it all needs to be over here and out of the way. I'm going to leave those up there. So let's see how that looks. All right, that's how our keys should look. Let's bring that back. All right. And we're looking for a place where her body starts shifting in a different direction. Her arm moved a little bit, so I'm going to pull this back just a little. All right, so in here, this entire thing should shift over. So we can just grab this edge, bring her on over. There we go. We've got our second mat done. Let's go ahead and rename this mat 2. Wait. All right. All right, so I went ahead and fast forward a little bit because it gets a little tedious watching somebody create X-splines and rotoscope out. But basically, we've got a total of 9 mats. And I finished up around her side here and her head and the jewel up top. So we've got all the holes on the inside covered and we're ready to jump back into Fusion. But before we do, we'll go ahead and save and highlight all the mats we want to bring it back in, which are all the white ones, which are going to be the solid mats. We already brought in this garbage mat and we don't need to bring in a track. So we're going to select all these white solid mats that we're putting on top of her. We're going to go to export shape, make sure the format is Blackmagic Fusion Shapes, and hit copy to clipboard. And you can go ahead and close this down. And we're going to disconnect our media out from that color space transform and from our Mocha Pro node, but we'll keep that just in case we need to add any more. And add more is as simple as reconnecting it, making a new solid mat, and exporting just that one. You can keep adding. So in order to get all these solid mats on our key, what we're going to do is first we're going to lay down a multi-merge node, and this allows you to merge multiple things into one node. And you've got one main input, which is the orange, and then as you add to this foreground, which is the white, it'll keep adding new foreground nodes to it, or triangles slash inputs to it. So what we're going to do is hit Control V, and we just pasted all 9 of those mats that we did. So we're going to lay them out. So they're all separated and orderly, somewhat orderly. Go. We're going to stick our multi-merge right here. We'll connect the first one into our main input and then keep adding all the additional ones to these white triangles that keep popping up around our node. And I see how one connected to the blue. I don't want that. And there. Now that we've got all our nodes connected, we're going to go ahead and go from the out of our multi-merge into our solid mat on our delta key. As soon as we do, you see all those holes are closed up. So there's our key with our mats, our garbage mat and our solid mats. And all those holes, and the one part we were worried about is right down here, making sure that came through correctly. And we want to clean up here definitely. So let's see how that looks. Looks pretty good. Now I do notice this mat over here is getting a little hard edged right here. And obviously we'd go in and we'd clean up all these additional parts of our clothing that are kind of getting keyed wrong, that are missing from our key, and add more solid mats just to get those in. It's as easy as tracking it and adding new mats onto them. But to get rid of that hard edge, what we can do is we can find which one is that one right there. And for each of the mats, you have the ability to soften up your edge. Now this softens up quite a bit. As you can see, it starts pushing out more. But if we zoom in, we can just pump it up a little bit just to soften that edge. Get it out there so it's not so rough. Get off of that node so I don't see that, and we'll play that back and see how that looks. Much better. And make sure we got everything up here and there's no hard edges on that jewel, and that's looking pretty good. So there's our key that we created with Delta Keyer, a garbage mat from Mocha Pro, and solid mats from Mocha Pro. And in the next module, we're going to jump back into DaVinci in the edit page and export out all of our sequences so we can start working on our shot in Blender. So see you in the next module. If you like this video and would like access to the full course, you can visit my Payhip page, link in the description. For only $26, you're getting access to 6 hours of instructional video, as well as access to footage, Blender project files, and other pre-production file downloads. The VFX for the Indie Filmmaker course covers complete instruction from pre-production to project delivery and includes modules such as keying and compositing, creating and rendering 3D sets, and everything else you'll need to know to go from charging hundreds of dollars per project to thousands of dollars per project.